Dianna Gunn writes fantasy, horror, and occasionally science fiction about strong women overcoming trauma. Her work has appeared in the Nothing Without Us 2 and Broken Olive Branches anthologies. Her first dark fantasy series, The Moonshadow Rising duology, is available now. Dianna, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here, and I will be reading from Chapter 7 of Moonshadow's Guardian. This is the first chapter in the perspective of the secondary viewpoint character, and we will be starting with a flashback. Several months after the city of Rimonira's death, a half-starved boy from the southernmost reaches of Shalinor stumbled into my city. He was covered in filth from weeks on the road, his clothes torn almost to nothing. Still, when I saw him collapse by the river, my heart soared. His was the first life I had seen in months, perhaps the only life left in Shalinor other than my own. I went to his side and forced water down his swollen throat. I carried him back to the palace. He weighed little, much less than a boy his age should. I put him in the bedchamber closest to my own and nursed him back to health. He woke 3 days after I found him and told me his story, his sentences punctuated with whimpers as I ran a wet cloth along his still feverish forehead. He was Galvin, the only surviving member of his family. He had walked all the way to Rimonira to see if the rumors were true, if the city still stood. He told me he wanted to die on our land, tell our land, rather than follow the others into hostile kingdoms. I've seen it, he wheezed. It's as beautiful as they said. I can die happy now. You will not die yet, I said. But I am already dead. I never knew if he meant on the outside or inside as he slipped back into unconsciousness. I healed him anyway, helped him regain his strength, taught him everything I knew. Each day with him was a joy, even if the world was gray and gloomy around us. He was the son I never got to raise. Galvin soon grew into a man, and with the aid of my magic, he lived to be an old man, but I could not keep him forever. Over time, he grew old and weak, and one day he asked me to take him outside. I did, carrying him as I had when I first found him. He was bony again, almost weightless. I took him to the river that was now only a creek, and there we sat under a long-dead tree, enjoying each other's silent company. You know, he said, I came here to die all those years ago. Yes, I said, refusing to look at him. I couldn't stand his gaunt face, the red blotches on his skin, marks of the disease my spells could not defeat. You saved me. I wanted to thank you. Don't thank me, I said. I've been grateful to have you, and selfish. Selfish? You gave me everything. I shook my head. You've never known a lover, a family, a community, only this dead city and my sad old soul. A hand touched mine and I met his gaze, my soul aching as I saw the warmth in his deep brown eyes, the mark of how much he loved me. That is more than I dreamed of finding when I came here. All I wanted was to see the great city before I died. He shifted, grimacing as if the movement hurt him. Of course it did. They all did, the movements of these old bones. Now, my only hope is that you won't spend the rest of eternity alone. I squeezed his hand. I chose my path, but if there is a way to bring my people home, I will find it. A shudder ran through him, sending a tremor along my arm. You will stop the death, then. I will. I said. Our queendom will someday rise again. I didn't believe the words then, but Galvin did. He smiled and lay back in the grass, staring into the endless expanse of clouds. I wish I could see it, he sighed. The queendom of Shalinor, raised from the ashes by its greatest hero, Kari. Perhaps you will in another life. I didn't know if I believed in reincarnation then, but I wanted to believe Galvin and all my people would someday know a better life. Tell me, he whispered, what our new queendom will look like. First of all, I began, picking at a clump of gray dirt, it will be green. Plants will grow in every free space. They'll even grow in the cracks between cobblestones. Keeping the plants at bay will be a constant struggle, but the city will be covered in colors all year round. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, imagining the streets of Rimonira once again flooded with life, their sounds and smells filling the air. The sun will shine on it often, but not enough to create drought, and people from all over Omicare will come to see it, and when they are here, they will be kind to our people. It sounds perfect, I smiled. It does, doesn't it? And so a dream was born. 500 years later. A whisper on the wind caught my attention, the orb calling my name. It was time. An ancient voice, one more familiar than my own after all these years alone, curled outward from the orb, filling my mind. Hello, my child. I know what you are here for. Then let us create it together. The words were ancient words, words of power. They tore my throat on the way out, but I didn't care. It would heal in the morning. With my hands, I shaped a person in the air. On the other side of the orb, a shadow appeared. First it was a blob, then it became half a man, growing arms and hands, then a full man with legs and feet. I closed my eyes and focused my power, filling the shadow with life, the soul of a real, living man. A human sound came from the bottom of the tower, crying, perhaps screaming, broke my concentration. I barreled down the stairs, not even letting myself breathe. For the first time in centuries, prayers ran through my head, prayers for life and abundance and success. I reached the bottom of the stairwell where the sound was coming from and threw open the tower door. There, sitting against a wall with his head in his hands, was a naked brown boy, perhaps 4 years old, his head covered with thick, curly hair and his body racked with sobs. He met my eyes and fell quiet. I stared at him in wonder. I had created life. The gods still smiled upon me, despite my curse. I fell to my knees and wept. The boy jumped into my arms and I wrapped them slowly around him, half expecting my hands to go through him, expecting him to be an illusion manifested by hope. His skin was soft like silk and his hair smelled like straw. He was entirely real and I had created him. My womb had been barren for centuries, but it didn't matter now. I had not only created life, I had also done what everyone who has ever lost someone dreams about. I had brought back somebody I loved. The boy tightened his arms around me and we wept together. And that is Moonshadow's Guardian. The book is currently on sale for 99 cents everywhere ebooks are sold, as is the second book, Moonshadow's Champion, or you can sign up to potentially win the ebook copy of Moonshadow's Guardian that I will be giving away to someone from this reading.